Thom Hallock has been a household name in the Champlain Valley and beyond for 3 decades. Beginning in the mid-90s, he worked as an anchor and journalist for WPTZ, now NBC5. Then about 15 years ago, he made the switch from commercial to public media when he became host and producer of Mountain Lake Journal at Mountain Lake PBS. Hallock says the job gave him the freedom to cover all kinds of people and stories, all while honoring the mission of making sure public media is just that, public and accessible for all. He recently stepped down from full-time journalism, but plans to remain a presence on Mountain Lake's airwaves. We hear from Hallock about his many years covering the North Country on today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from Morja Wealth Management, serving the North Country for 3 generations. MorjaWM.com, securities offered through Hightower Securities, LLC, member FINRA, SIPC. Hightower is an SEC-registered investment advisor. And Kinney Drugs, now offering specialized home medical equipment and supplies. Learn more at kinneyhomecare.com.
Hi, I'm Kara Chapman. It's Tuesday, October 21st. Up first, state police say a Clinton County woman reported missing on Sunday was shot and killed by her husband. 25-year-old Chloe Henry of Moores was allegedly last seen with her husband, 33-year-old Keith Henry of Plattsburgh. Her body was found today in the Ridge Road area of Shazy. Police say an investigation determined Keith Henry shot and killed his wife in his vehicle. He was taken into custody for questioning. Police have yet to disclose any charges. An autopsy to determine Chloe Henry's official cause of death is scheduled for tomorrow morning. Some changes to the voting process are coming to Jefferson County this November. Amy Feiereisel has the details.
Jefferson County voters are going to see a slightly different ballot this year. Michelle Lefebvre is the Democratic commissioner for the county's Board of Elections.
The ballot is going to look different this year because we are including the Spanish language on there as well as English.
While ballots have always been available in different languages, now all the county's ballots will be bilingual. That's because Spanish-speaking residents now represent more than 3% of the population in Jefferson County. Commissioners attribute that to the fluctuating population of Fort Drum, where soldiers and their families come from all over the U.S. and the world. Republican Commissioner Tiffany Ladd says the county is also upping the number of poll sites in Watertown.
We did increase the poll sites this year from 4 to 6.
She says that was at the urging of constituents and county legislators. In 2023, citing low turnout, Jefferson County had closed several locations across the county. Watertown residents can vote at any of the city's polling centers on Election Day. This will be the second year the county has had 2 early voting locations. Ladd says voters can go to the county building on Arsenal Street in Watertown or the DePauwville Fire Hall, which was added in 2024.
We had a great success with that during the general election last year for early voting. We had a great increase of people coming out, so we are doing that again this year.
Early voting starts this Saturday and runs through Sunday, November 2nd. Amy Feiereisel, North Country Public Radio.
One of the Champlain Valley's most well-known TV hosts has retired from full-time journalism. Thom Hallock has hosted Mountain Lake PBS's flagship program, Mountain Lake Journal, for more than 15 years. He recently stepped down because he and his wife Jackie relocated to Messina. But Hallock isn't going away. He'll stay involved with the Journal by hosting a monthly roundtable with reporters, moderating debates, and covering some stories. Hallock got his start in commercial news, making the switch to public media in 2008. He told me that what he appreciates about public television is the freedom to cover all kinds of stories and the mission behind the programming.
To me, at the core, public television is so key, so important that everyone have access to that information, and programming and public affairs so critical. Maybe I'm a throwback in that way. I still believe so strongly in doing community-type programming and public affairs, and so I've been lucky. That's what I've been able to do for the past 17 years.
Mm-hmm. And what do you look back on as some of the most important stories that you covered for the Journal?
Probably COVID. I mean, we had special programming on. We had daily programs for a while when COVID first started. So I think that was a big part of it, just getting that information out so that people knew what was open, what wasn't open, what was happening, where to get tested, how to get tested. Then when the vaccinations came out over at the airport, and just making sure that people had all the information that they needed, I think was so so important. There have been, so many other stories I've loved doing, and they're great stories, but I think that was probably one of the most important things we've done. And I'll go back to, hosting debates through the years. A lot of them weren't exciting television, but I think they were critical and crucial that people could hear from the candidates, and that public television still did that, where you could have a number of the candidates and for an hour hear from them and not just see the TV ads.
What about more fun or some of your most favorite stories?
And that's hard. That's hard to narrow them down. But I remember Pete Nye from New York DEC took us up to an eagle's nest out near Paul Smith's College out in Brighton. And I mean literally up the tree, and so that we could look over and see the mother and the father were gone at the time, but we could see two eaglets there in the nest, and that was just riveting. That was so exciting to go do that, and other great stories up into the clouds with people like Chris Rimmer. He's a researcher looking for the Bicknell thrush, and going out with him and spending an entire day and actually capturing the Bicknell thrush up in the alpine summits where they nested, and banding them, and just stories like that are so fun to cover, but at the same time also critical to let everyone know why it's so important to work to preserve and protect species like the Bicknell thrush.
Public radio and TV stations are going through a challenging time right now with, the loss of federal funding and the shutdown of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. That's kind of ongoing. It's hit us at NCPR. It's hit Mountain Lake pretty hard as well. And how do you think about, where public media goes from here and the role that we have to play in the local news landscape?
I think our role doesn't change. It's just as important as ever, if not more important now in this day and age. And that's why I think it's going to really be up to the viewers, to the listeners, to step up and say that this is important to me. I believe that they do good work. They do work that we need to see and hear, and to help fill that void. I mean, we've been talking for many years about the possibility of federal funding going away. Now, yes, it's a reality, and it's gone away completely. And as you mentioned, it certainly has hit smaller rural stations like ours particularly hard. And we've paid the price, and we've had to deal with the impact here. But it does not change our mission whatsoever. And I think more than ever, it is so important for both public radio and public television to be there and to continue doing what they do. And so many times listeners and viewers watch and appreciate what we do, but they're not members. And I think now is the time for them to say this is important to us, and to step up to help make sure that that funding is there.
That was Thom Hallock with Mountain Lake PBS. We spoke about his career covering the North Country and how public media moves forward without federal funding. Basically, the big takeaway from what Thom said is that it's really up to the viewers and listeners to step up and fill the gap in that funding. And a big part of that group is the people who know our work is important, who listen, who rely on us, but haven't yet made the jump and financially supported NCPR. If you can, now is the time to do it. Number one, because it's our fall fundraiser, and we only have until tomorrow to reach our $450,000 goal. And number two, because you can double the impact of your dollars right now. Thanks to a group of generous supporters, we have a $50,000 match going on. Any new members who make their first-time donation count toward unlocking that $50,000. So does anyone who makes an additional donation or increases their monthly sustaining donation. We are close to hitting that $50,000 match. You can help us get there. Get us across the finish line right now by going to ncpr.org/give. Make your donation, double your impact, and help keep NCPR local, independent, and strong for years to come. Again, go to ncpr.org/give to make your donation right now, and thank you for your support. We have more news all the time on our website, ncpr.org. Music today by Eddie Lawrence of Saranac Lake and Oscar Sarmiento of Potsdam. I'm Kara Chapman, North Country Public Radio.